Hi, I'm Devon Harris. This is the first of 3 videos in which I like to share some positive thoughts and offer you some encouragement as you navigate these challenging times. But hey, let's face it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it sucks right now. I mean, so many of us are still in shell shock. Many people have lost their jobs, the unemployment numbers are historical, many businesses are threatened. There are entire industries that right now are on the verge of being decimated. Look at the hospitality industry, for example. Hotels are closed, which is unprecedented. Restaurant workers, transportation workers, you name it, every nook and cranny of this industry is under duress. They are in pain. And I can relate to that because as a motivational speaker, whenever meetings and incentive programs are canceled, then it means potential work for me is canceled as well. So yes, none of us is immune from this. We are all in this thing together, as it were. It's like this crazy bobsled ride, the wildest I've ever been on. And I've been on a few. But look, I am taking this ride with you. And so my goal with these videos is to offer you some inspiration, to raise your confidence and hopefully lift your spirits. So in this first video, I'd like to share some thoughts with you on how you can create certainty in an uncertain world. We love certainty, don't we? I mean, it is, in fact, one of the top 6 emotional needs that we have. It offers us safety and security and a sense of comfort. But more than that, it's more than just a feeling, it's also an emotional state. I want you to think back to a time when you felt certain, how focused your mind and your emotions were, how confident you were in your actions, how confident you were in the outcomes you were seeking. Can you remember that? Can you remember how confident you felt, the fact that there was no doubt, no hesitation, you felt powerful, you felt sure, you felt invincible almost? Well, here's the thing. We live in a world that is rife with uncertainty. This coronavirus crisis has definitely kicked the uncertainty meter all the way up because we're left discombobulated, and quite frankly, if we're not careful, it's going to leave us paralyzed with fear and anxiety as well. Why? Because we don't know what's next. And we want to know, we need to know what's next. We need to know how the story ends. Until then, all we have is uncertainty. So the question is, how do we create certainty amidst the sea of uncertainty? Well, I want to share with you 4 ideas on how you can do that. The first thing is that you have to learn to let go. You know, because of the way we are wired, we naturally want to have control. We set goals and we work as hard as we can to accomplish them because we want to create a certain set of outcomes for our lives, outcomes that we believe are good for us, right? They give our lives direction and they allow us to maintain a certain level of control. But what happens? What happens when external forces upend those outcomes that we seek, right? When they negatively impact our lives? We get knocked off balance. That's what happens. And right now, most of us, if not all of us, are off balance. The fact is that we become so attached to the outcomes that whenever something upends it, we fight tooth and nail to maintain control. And as we do that, we engage in what I call the doomsday kind of thinking, right? Our self-talk now becomes, man, I'm almost retired. I'll never find another job. My business is definitely going to sink. My industry will never recover from this. The economy is definitely going into a recession or maybe even a depression, and on, right? And this is the moment, my friend, when we definitely need to let go, right? That's how you start to manage the uncertainty, by letting go. I know it's against our natural instinct, but when we analyze when we accept the uncertainty, then we're able to analyze it. We don't necessarily paint a picture that is rosier or darker than it actually is. We're just simply honest about what the situation is. We accept or admit what it is we know and don't know. And that means that we're not trying to control the facts. We're merely navigating our way around the facts and through the facts. And that gives us a level of control. It's the only control we have, controlling the process. That's all you can do, and it doesn't make you powerless. It makes you human. So let go. Let go by trusting the process. You may not have the foggiest idea about how things are going to work out, but just know it's going to be okay. And how do you know that? Because you have faith in yourself, which is the second point I want to share with you. You have to have faith in yourself. The athlete in me says that crisis, tough times, is preparation, it's training. The stress and the challenge of a competition prepares us for the next competition. In the same way, crisis strengthens us and makes us better prepared for when the next one hits. Now, I'm sure you have had some challenges in your life, and all of us have collectively dealt with challenges, whether it's natural disasters, tsunamis and earthquakes and floods and hurricanes and forest fires. The list seems endless. Or perhaps it's terrorism. 9/11 comes to mind. Or financial crisis, 1987 Black Monday, or more recently 2002, that financial meltdown. But you'll say, yes, Devon, that's true, but this is worse. This is unprecedented. This is, earth-shattering. And I agree with you. I mean, we're dealing with a global health crisis, a global pandemic, while at the same time trying to avoid an economic meltdown. So it is different. But remember what I said before. The crises in the past have prepared us to deal with this. All you have to do is have faith in yourself. Have faith in your peers, in your colleagues. Have faith in us collectively, because we have done this before. We have the ability to get through this crisis and get out on the other end whole again. You have the ability to get through this and get out whole. You just have to believe in yourself. Think back to a time when you rocked it. Can you remember that? When you were awesome, when you were unstoppable, right? You went through a crisis and you go, wow, I am strong, man, I did this. Well, guess what? You are the same person. In fact, you may be now wiser, you may have better abilities, improved abilities and skills. And the thing that has changed really fundamentally are the circumstances. So my encouragement to you is to dig deep, because you have the emotional resilience, you have the fortitude and the stamina to work through this and in the end create something great. Can you imagine that? If you can, that's awesome, because my next step is to envision the best. Envision the best. There's no doubt that this is a very difficult road ahead, right? There's some good news, but for the most part, the news in the media is not very reassuring. The number of infected cases around the world is climbing, and I suspect that once testing becomes more predominant and more effective, those numbers are going to rise even more. In New York City, they are creating makeshift morgues. The market is still volatile. I mean, the economic outlook is pretty grim. And you may be even looking at your own business or your industry and thinking, wow, this thing is falling apart before my very eyes. And I want to encourage you to say, hey, we will be able to come back. It is not impossible. It may be slow, it may be tedious, it may even be frustrating, but we will come back. The anxiety that you're feeling right now, I think, comes from you imagining the worst outcome. And my encouragement to you is to use that very same energy to imagine the best possible outcome. Acknowledge the challenge, but from where you are, look up, look out, look forward to see the positive possibilities. Resist the urge to ruminate over the negatives. And as they say, the proverbial saying, look for the light at the end of the tunnel. Think about that, focus on that, because that is going to lift your spirits. It's going to create in you a sense of certainty, and it's going to give you hope. Some of the cynics will say, Devon, hope is not a plan. To which I'd say, fine, well, do something, which is a fourth idea I want to share with you. Do something, take action. There's actually a lot that you can do. Right now, there's a lot of nervous energy that's flowing around, right? But we also have a lot of time on our hands. Sure, some of us are juggling all these balls, right? Trying to save our careers, trying to keep our business afloat, while at the same time homeschooling our kids. But even with all of that, we still have a lot more time than we normally do because of the slowdown. So use some of that time to do something positive, right? You can use some of that time to engage in personal reflection. That's going to help you to become more self-aware. It's going to help you to understand the reasons why you respond to certain situations the way you do, right? It's going to help you to take stock of your self-talk, the conversations that you have, maybe your tendency to always see the negative side of things. So spend some time in deep self-reflection. Spend some time reprioritizing some of the things in your life. We're sometimes so busy building our careers and our businesses that we lose sight of the things that are truly important to us. So spend some time thinking about that. You know, this thing that I thought was so precious a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, is that still true today? That's really important, right? You can also spend some time learning new skills and also improving existing skills. And it's not just technical skills, but soft skills, right? So you spend some time learning how you can become better communicators, better leaders for that matter. Spend some time sharing your expertise, sharing it with your peers and your community at large. Spend some time thinking about how you can rebrand or reposition your company. These are all things that you probably wanted to do forever, but because you're so busy running around taking care of business, so to speak, you couldn't find the time. Now that there's a slowdown, do something. Remember that there's really ever any disruption without opportunity, sometimes tremendous opportunities. So if you learn how to let go, if you have faith in yourself, if you envision the best and then do something about it, I believe you'll be able to put yourself in a position to get through this crisis and end up on the other side in good shape. You would have created certainty in an uncertain world. I am Devon Harris, and as always, keep on pushing. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you click on that subscribe button and hit that bell. You'll get a notification every time we post a new video. And don't forget, share it with your friends, man. They want to be inspired as well, right? So share it. Don't keep it. And before you go on to the next video, visit my website, www.devonharris.com. Keep on pushing.